Okay, so we are going to be trying hydro dipping today. Hydro dipping is basically where you just put spray paint in water and dip an item in there. I'm going to be hydro dipping my shoes. I bought these shoes at Walmart. I thought they were super cute. They were only $5, so I bought two pair. One pair to keep the way that they are and one pair to hydro dip. But the first step to hydro dipping is taping off the parts you do not want to get paint on. So I had to tape off the entire heels and the zipper, since there's two zippers on each side. Don't really have to worry about inside the shoe. So here I show it is totally taped up where I don't want the paint to touch. The boys are now taping their Nerf guns and their BB guns because they're going to hydro dip them. And then the next step is to prime the items you want to hydro dip. That way that the paint sticks to it and really stands out. So you want to get a white primer and just spray it all over. Well, here I'm doing the shoes, but we also did it to the Nerf guns that we're not showing. And you have to let it dry. This dries pretty fast, especially when it's out in the wind. And you can see that we did the boys' shoes as well. So we put it in the box because we didn't want the wind to carry the paint elsewhere, since this is not our lot. The next step is to spray the color of the paint that you picked out to go on your item in the water. You want to make sure that it gets so you fill up a tub of water with warm water. This was a little hard to do. We had to do it in our RV and then carry the bucket down without spilling it. And then you spray paint spots around the bucket. You want to make sure you fill the entire tub with color, because as you hydro dip your shoe, it pulls the paint down, kind of like if there was a sheet covering it and you're pulling it down. So it's going to pull the color from all the edges. So I'm trying to make sure that the colors that I want cover the entire tub. So I picked out a turquoise color, yellow, and gold. Actually, my son picked out the gold for one of his guns, and I thought it would look cool on a shoe. So I probably could have left it like that, but I thought it needed more blue, and as I'm spraying it, it's kind of pushing some of the colors together, so I'm adding more color. And then you have to pick where you want to dip the shoe too. So you kind of have to be strategic on where you want to dip your item that you are dipping in. So that's where Marcus and the kids are trying to help me see where to dip it. So also, when you're dipping, make sure you're wearing gloves. I didn't have gloves, so I had to dip using a bag. And you're going to dip like the toe first, because again, it's going to pull all the paint in. And dip very slowly down into the water, letting all the paint, you can see it's kind of pulling the paint in and gathering it around. As soon as it's all the way in the water, you want to use a gloved hand to push away all the paint, so that when you bring the toy or water bottle or shoe back up, it doesn't collect the paint on it as it's coming back up. And here you can see where the paint stuck to it. And it was pretty cool because each thing that you dip is really unique. Here it kind of looks a little bit messy. It's going to look a lot better after I take all the tape off. But I really like the way that this shoe turned out as opposed to the next shoe. I think the next shoe I put a little bit too much blue on it. But we found out that we really should have emptied the tub after each one. That way it doesn't end up gathering all these little particles of paint on the shoe. But here I am going again and spraying the colors out, and you can just watch as I do that. The videos that I've seen where they spray in just big blotches, so big circles like that. I think the more paint that you use, the better it's going to turn out. When we did the boys' guns, we didn't use as much paint, and a lot of the white primer from underneath showed. It ended up looking good because the white I thought looked really good on there with the colors that they chose. But if you don't want the white to show, use more paint. You do have to get a satin paint though. The boys did get one paint that was a camouflage, and it was like a really weird texture, and it kind of messed up the paint. I'm not sure if it was the texture of the paint, but we got all satin paint. Again, this is our first time. I'm sure if you watch other videos on hydro dipping, they will give you better advice. You can see there's not as much gold and yellow showing in this one, so when I bring the shoe out of the water, you're not going to see as much color as you did on my last shoe. So you go slowly in again. I saw some other hydro dippers going toe first, so that's what I was doing. Slowly, that way there's no gaps in where the paint gathers on your shoe and sticks to it. As soon as it gets down in the water, you spread the paint away. Again, so the paint doesn't stick to the shoe on the way up. And then when you bring it up out of the water, you have your results. You can see there's a little bit of yellow paint on the side. It's probably going to stick to my shoe on the way up. If you leave the paint there sticking to, see there's more blue in this one. If you leave the paint there and it sticks to your shoe on the way up, you get like a double layer and it kind of gets bubbly and it doesn't lay as right on the shoe either. And then here we go. We just let them dry and we do the boys' guns next, which I don't have on video. Slade accidentally set down a spray bottle of paint too hard and it exploded. It was the gold everywhere. It just shot out everywhere. The boys have it on their shoes. I tried to place a welcome mat over where it's sprayed on the cement, but it is all under here too. At least it wasn't the blue, it was gold. I tried to get nail polish remover to lay it on, but I didn't have enough to remove it. It got all on the mulch and I tried covering the mulch with sand, but now it just looks like we struck it rich. We have, you can't really tell in the video, but this is all gold underneath here. So I'm going to go to the store and I'm going to get paint thinner and that will take it off of the cement. The boys are just going to have to deal with having gold painted nails for a little bit. But here is our shoes. Kay did a pair of shoes as well. They did some Nerf guns. This still has the painter's tape on it, but I'll show you some pictures after we do remove the painter's tape. The boys did a few Nerf guns. We got sick of filling up the tub of water, and so there was a few Nerf guns like this one, or the one above it, that's Jace's BB gun, that we ended up did not paint. I thought this one turned out pretty good, but you can see the white in there was not white he sprayed into the water. That white is just the primer underneath. So if you go dip it too fast or you don't have enough paint in the water, the primer underneath will show. That Slade's, he wanted all the colors that we had. He still has his painter's tape on the end of it. And then we are just letting it dry. So the boys are laughing still at the spray paint all over the cement. So yeah, that's what that is. And then here are the finished work. So this is after it's dried and painter's tape has been taken off. I love my shoes. I don't know what outfit I'm gonna wear them with yet. Here's the boys' guns. And they turned out really well, I thought, and the boys were really happy with them. Kay's pair of shoes, Jace's gun, there's that camo, it's got a really weird texture on it, and then Slade's